mood, baby.
We in here, yeah, we in here, 'cause we been.
Y'all better get comfortable with saying black.
We in here, yeah, we in here, 'cause
Black versus the Board of Education.
Cause we came here, rid of us now. We in here, yeah, we in here. Cause we came here, rid of us now. And you know that we won't ever go for you. Cause we been here.
That's why we are indeed a whole mood.
That's it.
Thank you. What is popping today on this fabulous Monday? It's Miss Laureen with Black versus the Board of Education, and we actually invite you into our space today because, we have a whole lot to talk about. But you know how we do. Before we get any conversation started, I know we're a little bit early. People are a little quick on the trigger this afternoon. But before we get started, we like to let you know who's in the building. And so we are going to start with Miss Keela. Hey.
Hey, I never go first. Hi. I'm Keela. Student.
Okay. All right.
That's
okay,
it.
Keela.
I got excited.
Okay. Jalen, hey.
Oh, dang. Okay. My name is Jalen. I am from the California area. But I want to have everybody bow their heads real quick. Can we all send a prayer to De'Aaron Fox's finger?
Oh,
we
Lord.
gotta light the beam.
We have to light the
And-
beam.
And we gonna need his finger to do that, huh?
We need his
We need
finger
his
to do
finger to
that.
heal. He has a
Yeah.
fractured finger. He came out, and we need him
We know.
to light the beam. Thank you.
Yes, light the beam.
All right, Miss Jada.
Hey, let's not talk about that lose last night. Hey guys, my name is Jada. I am a homeschooled senior. This is actually my last week as a senior.
Ooh, ooh.
Okay.
We don't know what
Get
you're
my
gonna do with
flowers.
yourself, huh?
I really don't. I mean, I do, but I don't. So.
Oh wow.
Not too much. Not too much.
Wow. Okay. Where's Adrian? Hey, Adrian.
Hey, Mr. Green. My name is Adrian. I'm a college student in the Sacramento area. I'm back to my natural habitat. So
Oh Lord.
Ooh, not the natural
All right, the
habitat.
natural habitat. Okay. Where my girl Melissa at? Come on, Melissa.
Hi, everyone. My name is Melissa, and I am a junior in the SoCal area.
So you guys, we had a chance this weekend to go by CBS 13 and kind of spend some time and get to learn something. So I want to know, give me one takeaway that you left with. Come on, Miss Jada.
My biggest takeaway from the CBS, I guess just how it encouraged me to want to be a news anchor. That's
Ooh.
like the biggest thing for
Come
me.
on, news anchor.
And it actually, because I used to have an undecided major, but now I want to major in journalism because I heard that was a lot of where they started, and then they started the writing, then they became
Okay.
anchors and wrote their stories, and I'm
Okay.
looking forward
So
to
we done got a major declared. Okay. Come on, Miss Keela. What did you learn?
I learned that there's a lot of things that go on in a news station that I never knew even went on, like the green screens, all this stuff. But like the associate producers, like shout out to them. They do a lot.
Oh my gosh, they
And
do.
It's just like I feel like they don't be sleeping, like kind of like you, but like
Oh Lord.
like I don't know.
So I'm
It's-
like the associate producer.
period.
Yeah, okay,
like
there you go.
But yeah, it's a lot. But shout out to them for real.
All right, Jalen, what'd you learn?
Talking on the what's it called? Teleprompter?
Teleprompter.
That
uh-huh.
thing is hard. And I don't understand how the actual anchor does it when he hasn't wrote it.
Oh.
Like
Oh,
it's easier.
yeah.
It's easier to write to read something that you wrote. Like the sports anchor, he wrote all this stuff so he can go over in his head. The
Mhm.
news anchor, he just has to just read it.
Right.
That was
I never thought about that, but you are absolutely right. Adrian, what'd you take away from it?
my biggest takeaway was how the anchors can go from like professional to joking in a matter of
Oh my god, that was so funny.
buttons.
Oh my gosh.
Shout out
Like-
to Brady and Jake because they absolutely Jake from State Farm. They absolutely could switch it on and off, and
Definitely.
that's amazing. It's amazing. Did I cut you off? I did not mean to cut you off. If I did,
No, I was done.
oh, okay. Cool. Melissa.
Jalen took mine. I was going to talk about this teleprompter and how that is so hard. Like, and we each got to take a turn doing that. That was probably one of the hardest things I've ever done because it's going so fast. And if you mess up, that you have to keep going. And people always say, if you mess up, no one's going to know you messed up. everyone can know you messed up if you're not smooth with it. And so seeing them do that, and even seeing almost where they messed up, but they picked themselves right up. I thought that part was just so amazing and so professional. And how he told us that this was his first time. I don't believe him. That was a lie, because he was so smooth with where he stumbled over his words and he picked it right back up on the next sentence. It was just so amazing. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. And I was watching the news last night with my mom, and I was like, I know how everything works. I'm never going to be able to watch the news the same again. It was amazing.
I literally went home after that day. I went home and I was listening to some news, and I literally could hear him stumbling over the word. Like, you wouldn't hear it if you didn't go through the teleprompter yourself. But I can hear him be like, "Oh, okay," and then we have to keep going. I'm like, dang.
Yeah, there was probably a 3-second interval that one guy was talking.
So shout out to Jake and to Brady, who was the anchor, and it was not his first time ever. It was his first time in Sacramento. So he came from, I think he said Illinois or Idaho.
Oh, Idaho.
Okay.
Idaho.
He came from
Yeah,
Idaho, and so
Kentucky.
it was his first show here in Sacramento. So shout out to Brady. We want to thank our fabulous host, Miss Madison Keevy.
Thank you.
Gave us the VIP treatment. We absolutely appreciate that. Shout out to Roland, who had us rolling in the background with his commentary as he's producing the show in real time. It was such a treat just to be able to see how everybody else does things.
Right.
Because, we don't have any teleprompters in here. We're just right off the cuff.
Yeah.
And so you guys were actually given an assignment today.
Yeah.
You guys are acting as associate producers. So you have come up with how you want to portray your own stories or deliver your own stories. And so I'm excited to see what y'all came up with, because normally I do this. So let's go. Melissa, we're going to start with you. And I know that was a hard transition, but Melissa has a time clock and she got to get up out of here because she got to go to the board meeting, Miss Student Board Member. So we're going to put her on the spot. So come on, Millie, what you got?
Okay, so I have a few quotes from a story that I saw. And so this happened earlier in the month of April. I believe it was April 3rd, but it's resurfacing now because there were alumni from the school that have found out about the incident and are seeking justice for these students. So there were 4 Harvard seniors who are Black who told the Harvard Crimson that they were asleep in their suite around 4 a.m. on Monday morning when a loud banging on their door woke them up. Shortly after, at least 5 armed Harvard University police officers entered their suite, pointed assault rifles at the students, and instructed them to exit their rooms with their hands raised. And so there's a quote from one of the students that says, "Typically, things like this don't end well for people who look like us." So we can see that there is this, as we talk about, this underlying fear of police officers and people in power because of the things that we're seeing on TV. And so this apparently came from a hoax 911 call where someone was claiming that they were in that suite, specifically in that specific suite with those 4 Black students. So it seems that this was a targeted attack or a targeted 911 call trying to put a target on these 4 students' back. It was a hoax 911 call that said that someone was being held hostage in the room.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And they lived to tell about it.
Yes. So it's these 4 students and one of them is speaking up.
Not Phil Jackson. Sorry.
Not him yet.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Melissa.
No, it's okay. Yeah. So there were these 4 students, and I don't know. It's just, what do you guys think? I have some things I'm gonna say, but I want to know what you guys think.
Isn't it illegal to call a false swatting?
Yes.
Are they being held accountable for that?
That was going to be my question. I haven't found anything, and that is why the story is resurfacing, because there are the Black alumni. There's an association specifically for Black alumni from Harvard that are trying to seek justice and trying to push on the Harvard Police Department and on Harvard itself to have repercussions for for the people who called 911 in literally 4 o'clock in the morning, because that is illegal, and there have been no consequences for them that I could find.
Because that's very traumatizing and dangerous. They need to be accountable for that.
I mean, and it just makes me think of you all who are about to go off to college. And I know you really want to stay in the dorm, and your mama's like, hell no. But I'm trying to not hover But I think of these type of things that are happening, and I think about the world that we are living in
Mhm.
currently. People have lost their ever loving minds. And so I'm just, if they cannot do the bare minimum as going after the people who now they determine that it was a false call, if they can't do the bare minimum by holding them accountable, I want to know what kind of hope do Black students have? Because anybody could make these phone calls.
They do.
Anybody out of state, anybody anywhere could make these phone calls and say certain things, and then you have people who are so trigger happy. They go
Mhm.
in, they ask questions later, and
Mhm.
it puts you guys as sitting ducks. So I'm worried about the accountability aspect of it as well, because this is not just happening at Harvard, it's happening in neighborhoods. I mean, there are
Right.
multiple swatting calls happening. So does that make you rethink anything, or you just want to go experience dorm life? Holler at me. What you saying? What you saying, girl?
It definitely makes me a little more aware and a little more cautious. You know, I don't want to just walk in with my eyes closed and my ears plugged, la 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 la. Like, I will still have some sense of caution, some sense of situational awareness. That I, yeah, because I feel like stuff like this can happen when you're least expected, no matter how prepared you may feel like you are,
Of course.
especially when you're not surrounding yourself with the right people, or you're not being more aware of your surroundings and whose presence you're putting yourself in.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think I said
Okay.
that right.
What you think, Jalen?
I think I've heard about swatting stories for the longest time because when I was growing up, a lot of the streamers and a lot of the YouTubers that I would watch, there was like clips of them getting swatted live on while they're on stream and cops running into their house with guns and stuff like that. And it got so bad to the point where a lot of streamers, as soon as they would move to a different neighborhood, they would go to the police department that they were that they would be in the new city of,
Mhm.
and they would tell them, hey, there could be people who might try to call you and tell you that I may do X, Y, and Z
Mhm.
because that happened the last place I was at. So I'm just giving you a heads up
Oh
that
wow.
this happens a lot. Like, and they never find who does it because they'll be in a whole other state. They'll just give, oh, bomb threat, and then next thing you know, they're getting swatted. And they can see it coming because a lot of them live in penthouses. So they'll literally go on Instagram and be like, look, somebody swatted me again. So I've seen this a lot.
I don't like it.
I don't
Yeah,
either.
that's really scary.
Adrian, what do you think?
I think they should really investigate who made the call because I
Mhm.
remember seeing a story. I don't remember where, but somebody literally got shot by the police because they were swatted.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
They were innocently shot, and I know they got charged with murder, I believe. But I think if you start charging these people that are making these false calls as harshly as possible, that's the only way
Right.
you can really stop it.
Right.
And then make them responsible for restitution, because that is a lot of counseling. That is a lot of,
Yeah.
fallout from their joke, so to
Yep.
speak.
Yeah.
And it's not funny.
Yeah.
This was today.
When was it, Melissa?
This was at the beginning of the month. It was April 3rd. But the last article I found was April 21st, so a few days ago. And they, because of the Harvard Alumni Association, the Black Alumni Association was pressing on Harvard to get, like you were saying, get therapy or help for these students because nothing's been done for them. They were, I found a quote that said that for 66 hours, there was silence. Like there was no communicating with those students. There was nothing. So the latest article I found was a few days ago on the 21st, because they're pushing for some kind of support for those students. And they were pushing for that for Sunday, so yesterday. And so it's still a developing story.
Like it's been 3 weeks.
Like,
Right.
what if you had to damn investigate? It was a false call. Like, come on.
Yeah, that's
Unless
wild.
you're looking for who did it, like, stop all this. But
Yeah.
in the midst of them investigating, they can do something for the affected students. That's all.
Mhm.
Right. Well, thank you, Miss Melissa, for leading us off. Let's see. Who am I pick on next? Keela, since you're making all these funny faces, it's on you. What we talking about?
We are talking about Kim Potter. So April 11th, 2021, she stopped Dante Wright in a traffic stop, and she pulled him over for expired tags. So, commotion went on, and then they found out that he had like a warrant out for him, and then so she was repeatedly saying taser, 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 and then he tries to drive off, and then she shoots him. So, that goes on trial, and then so today, this morning at 4 a.m., she was released in Minnesota, and she served less sentence, and now she is basically in like, I don't know how to describe, not like a hideout, but like she's
like witness protection.
Yeah, basically.
Oh.
And then so it's on a whole nother state in Wisconsin, and so she's basically being monitored.
That's a terrible place to
Wait,
be.
is she on house arrest or anything?
Basically, she can't have any firearms. She has to report everything she's doing, where she's living, if she's moving, but it has to be in Wisconsin.
Yeah, they gave her that NBA YoungBoy treatment.
Yeah. So
and that's I mean, we're laughing not because it's funny, but because it seems like a slap on the wrist, right?
Keep in mind, she got charged with first and second degree manslaughter, and she was released 6 months.
Manslaughter?
Yeah.
And released?
In 16 months. So you get 2 years and you get released. And
I'm sure it was for good behavior.
They
She's
basically
such a good girl.
Right. So the reason why the whole release and why she got into a whole thing anyways, because in the jail, wherever she was, the prison, there were people that were protesting and like basically threatening her life. Like, what? You killed somebody. Like, so what you guys think?
I need to see same energy. They like to give a lot of these white people passes when they commit harsh crimes.
Well, let's go a step further. White police officers who are sworn to protect the public, and they end up scared of their own damn shadow, and they shoot instead of just arrest him and let him go through the court system.
Right.
Like, if you're scared, you don't need a gun, and you don't need authority to be able to make that decision like they're God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What in the entire hell?
Yeah. And then even she talked to the mother, is what I seen, and she was like, I'm sorry that I did this to you, because she has a child as well. So she was just like, I'm so sorry. But then yet she gets treated like that.
Energy.
Like
there's a thing called reciprocity. And karma is that one.
What's
so
define reciprocity?
Reciprocity, you give what you get. You reap what you sow. Right? So, nope, I'm not going to say that. What I will say is I hope karma finds her and finds her resting well. Yeah. That's what I'll say.
And even his brother said in an interview, like, it's basically just a slap across the face. Like, how do you do this? And then you get this witness protection program type thing, and it just doesn't make any sense.
Social injustice.
Yeah, I mean, and then it goes back to we talked about it before the podcast. Michael Vick got more time than she did.
It's really crazy.
So what does that say about the value of Black life? If Michael Vick, because of dogs, got more of a punishment than this woman who was sworn to protect the public,
and is still on his every single where he goes, every time he even tries to, and
they bring it up constantly.
Yeah. Oh, you dogfight it. You were a dogfighter, but she can get 16 months for killing somebody.
It's just disgusting at the end of the day. Like,
a whole human being.
Yeah, I mean,
he was 20 years
not
old.
3/5 of a human being.
20 years old, a child, newborn.
Yeah.
Like,
Adrian, what you think?
Wow.
About Miss Kim Potter?
It's crazy because I remember when this happened. I don't even think it should be manslaughter. I think it should be murder. Like, how do you not know a taser from a gun? You're trained all that time, and you don't know what a taser is.
That's what I'm saying.
The fact that it was charged with manslaughter.
That dude that shot Oscar Grant said he didn't know the difference.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys have ever held a gun and held a taser. Like, there is like
I've held a taser.
There's a distinct weight difference. And taser, the ones that I had access to, they were boxy. They weren't like a firearm, which I also held too.
And even in the video.
And I'm sorry to cut you off, Adrian, but it's a difference. Like, there's a distinct difference between a taser and a gun. And my understanding is they're on opposite hips.
They are. So how?
Even in the video, it says she keeps saying taser, taser. You could hear her multiple times, but yet he drives off and you shoot. But you just said taser though, right? So that just
But
makes me think.
that's because for the
How
audio.
did you pass? Police Academy.
no.
What's going on?
That's for the audio. She was already giving herself an out. Y'all
But
don't
that's what I'm-
understand.
no.
That's some next level foolishness.
And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like you were plotting from
Yeah.
jump.
Yeah.
It
from
should have been
jump.
premeditated. Come on, Adrian. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Right? You pretty much already said it. I was just gonna say, I don't understand. I was baffled that she got manslaughter instead of murder,
Right.
and then on top of it, she got manslaughter. She got out only in 16 months.
Mm.
Yeah.
Melissa.
I completely forgot about this woman because she was in prison and I thought we dealt with her already. Like because I remember when we talked about this on the podcast when this happened. Like I'm so sick and tired of you get 16 months for literally killing someone. And she said that she has a child too. So what if that would have been your kid? But because you're white, it definitely would not have been your kid. So, and then the getting threats in prison. Who cares? Girl, take
That's part of
it.
prison
You
culture.
can deal with
People get
it.
threats every day, B.
Oh my!
People get threats every day.
Yeah. I thought we dealt with her already. I completely forgot she existed.
That's why I chose this one.
And
It was a
wow.
podcast episode, and I was like, oh, we're back.
Because the last time I remember her is when she was crying in the court. That's the
They
last
always
time I
cry.
remember
They
seeing
cry.
her.
Yes.
They
Got out
cry in
early.
the classroom.
That's what
They
happened.
cry in the front
The
office.
conference
They
room.
cry. They cry.
That's like literally the last time I seen her was when she was crying.
But then it's just
It's
wild.
it's their way out.
It's just wild because now she's in a whole different state. Like that's what I'm really like. Like, are
What
you?
state did this happen in?
It happened in Minnesota, and now she's
Minnesota
in
and
Wisconsin.
How
Like,
was she
Boomer.
able to? How was she able to? Why?
They were basically
They're
on.
protecting her.
Yeah. So basically, this was a debate since I think like last week. I'm not sure any backstory, but I was reading, and it was like they already knew they were going to release her on Friday. They just didn't know when on Monday, and of course, they did it at 4 to 5 a.m. this morning.
When everybo's supposed to be asleep.
And like,
I mean, I wasn't
and then you already
asleep.
know
I
in
won't
our
let y'all
time
know.
that's 2-3 hour difference. Like,
Yeah.
Interesting.
I hate when people aren't held accountable
Lot.
because these are the same people that say black folks need to be held accountable.
Like they say that all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Adrian, what you got for us?
I got a story out of Antioch,
Antioch, California, or Antioch someplace else?
California.
Okay.
So an ongoing investigation by the FBI into Antioch police found that 45 out of 99 police officers were engaging in racial text between each
Ooh.
other.
So it's a whole problem.
Oh, and I have some quotes that I want to read. So one of the cops said, we just ran down a monkey at Sycamore.
Wow.
One said, I'll bury that N-word in my fields. He said the N-word. One asked, so are we harassing the gorillas?
Oh.
One said, bottom line, it doesn't matter. Some gorilla killed another gorilla.
Oh wow.
I'm
Whoa.
assuming they're talking about black on black crime, the
Yeah.
thing they like to promote so much when they want to validate why they should continue to kill black people. But go ahead.
And this last one says it was a 21-page report full of text.
Oh, y'all were writing essays. Oh,
But this last one says, since we don't have video, I sometimes just say people gave me a full confession when they don't. It gets filed easier.
Oh.
So with
So
that
everything
statement,
that they've touched should be thrown out then, is what I heard.
prosecutors are reinvestigating all of their cases. Few people came forward saying they were fairly treated. And, we'll see where it goes from there.
Oh, so this is an ongoing.
You got
case.
dang near half of
there's
them.
Nothing has been. They haven't been charged or anything. Nothing's taken place.
Antioch police have not released what they're doing as far as disciplinary measures.
And when was this?
The text released April 13th.
Oh,
this is
so
recent.
in a week.
46% of the police force.
That's almost half.
Well, now
And that's not far from us. Let's
keep it a buck. Yeah, it's not
that is not
from
far.
here.
That is
That's
45 minutes.
scary and dangerous. Serve and protect, and y'all talk like this.
Straight up people behaving badly, which is the name of our podcast episode. Like, what in the entire heck? And it's always a specific type of police officer. Like it's like, do y'all just go out and recruit specific
Yes.
types of these jokers?
Have
like
to.
for real?
Have to at this point.
Where is all the
Is their character not a
hate
qualification?
coming from?
That's what I'm saying.
I realized that the genesis of the police were slave catchers. They still have that mentality. And they want us to believe that the police are supposed to protect and serve. What they mean is protect and serve white people. Let's keep it a buck.
Come on.
Keep it a buck.
Like, what the hell is this? And then so they're talking about the community. You're not going to even let the community, you're not going to disclose how these people were handled.
Right.
It's probably because they're going to remain on the job.
Right.
And I can only imagine what's going through the minds of the people within that community. How scared they must be to know that the police within their community, the ones that are meant to serve and
I think
protect,
they already know.
Have to.
possibly.
Have
Because
to.
they've had run-ins with them.
Hmm.
Okay. They've had run-ins with them and they're just validating everything that the public already knows.
Mhm.
They
Oh.
said when there's no video, they just file whatever anyway.
Right.
Is crazy.
Wow.
But this is the thing, and I know like people will take little sound bites from our podcast and they'll say, oh, BVBOE hates police. I do not hate police officers. I hate the institution of policing as it stands right now because there have not been any reforms, really meaningful reforms, been put into place to address this bias. It's not unconscious. It's not implicit. It's explicit bias. And there's been nothing done to address that. So how can we then tell you young people that you can trust them when
Right.
this type
Yeah.
of foolishness continuing to happen in multiple police departments around this country?
Yeah.
And
Facts.
nobody has a uniform as if to how they're going to deal with specific things. Every police department has a different way they do things. And it all comes down to the same thing. They don't give a damn about Black people.
They don't.
And until we can have that conversation and be real about it, it's going to be a problem.
Yep.
It's going to be a problem. And that is in no way for me to say I hate all police officers. If you know me, you know I have relationships with police officers, but you're not going to piss on my leg and tell me it's raining.
Like,
It's not going to happen. So how do we coexist? We don't have to like each other. You don't like us. We probably don't like you. But how do we coexist in a community where we have young people coming up and we're trying to change the trajectory, but we have adults behaving badly?
Mm-hmm.
And we want to put the onus on the kids to change, but the adults won't change.
Mm-hmm.
Do we think
Absolutely
that these
ridiculous.
People, do we think that these officers grew up in this community?
And most of them don't grow up in the
Probably not.
communities they
Okay.
work in.
Yeah. So, I
Or
mean,
care to get to know the community that they're going to work in.
Yeah.
No.
They're
Well,
just
you
here to
know, they'll
police.
come out and they'll do the Cupid shuffle and
or
they'll
play
some
basketball.
basketball with the
Mhm.
kids.
Or race.
Yep.
They'll do some
Or
photo
race.
ops,
I'll race
you
you real
know.
quick.
They'll do that, but real meaningful relationship building, I have not seen that.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you do have somebody in the department who wants to do real meaningful relationship building, they're not there too long.
No, they're not.
They're not.
No, they are not.
It's infuriating.
They get scapegoated quick.
Yeah, and they become the problem and they get pushed out
mhm.
because truth of the matter is people like it the way that it is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They like it the way that it is.
Whether they like to admit it or not.
And
Because
that's
if they
okay.
didn't, because if they didn't, it would have been changed by now.
Certainly did.
Like, they
They
literally
certainly
said-
did in multiple
Like, you're gossiping.
essay-sized texts.
21 pages full of text
You're
messages.
gossiping about
21.
people's lives at this point.
Honestly.
And you're
on,
playing with
Melissa.
people's lives. Like,
21 pages, and I know that's not all of it. Like that, depending on how long each of these officers have been working, working in this police department, I know that's not all of the messages.
Tip of an iceberg.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah. Let them know.
I'm just saying, like, we have to have some real, like, honest dialogue, right? About the state of policing, the state of police in our communities, the state of I told you to do something and so you do it. Not that I'm going to abide by the rights I know you have as an autonomous human. It's I'm going to place my will above yours. And you gotta do what I say. And if you make me scared and fearful, I'm gonna shoot. And then I'm gonna say, you know what? They reach for a weapon. Oh, they reach for their waistband. Oh, they reach for the glove compartment. Oh, it's always something. The community is supposed to know better, but these people who are given guns don't have to know better, and it's sickening.
Yeah.
It's absolutely
And
sickening.
it just makes you think, like, what about the what about the police departments that aren't getting outed?
No,
What are
yeah.
they texting about?
Like, you're looking at this, it's like, what
I'm
do
sure it'd
the
be
police in our
similar.
community
It
think?
will be, but I'm just
I'm
saying,
sure it'd be
like,
similar.
You just like, man.
Because
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say that either.
Uh-oh.
Lord have mercy. Okay.
Filter,
Anyway,
filter.
Uh-oh.
we got filtered on today.
Woo! I almost told on somebody. Anyway, Miss
Ooh.
Jada, what you got for us?
I got a pretty lengthy one. You're not gonna hold you. So this incident took place in March, but this USA Today article came out, or was, I guess, edited April 6th. The victim was a 17-year-old father, Delanio Martin. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it's Delanio though. And it took place in Washington, D.C. The news statement said on March 18th, Metropolitan Police Department and U.S. Park police officers found Delanio Martin asleep in the car police believed to be stolen, officials said. Park police got into the car, and after a struggle, Martin drove away with an officer still in the back seat. That officer shot Martin multiple times, body camera video shows, before Martin crashed the car into a house. So the slight details that I went over was the MPD officers were responding to a report of a suspicious vehicle. Martin was found asleep in the driver's seat of a vehicle that police say was reported stolen earlier that month. This is March. Footage shows officers sneaking up on the car and silently opening the door before shouting loud commands, startling Martin. An officer jumps at Martin in the driver's seat, detaining him for a few until Martin puts this car into drive while the policeman is in the back seat, ditching the other policemen that are outside of the car. The policeman inside the car yells at Martin, "Stop, man, just let me out, let me go, stop, or I'll shoot," and proceeds to shoot him in the back multiple times. Martin then crashes the car into a house. Only the policeman in the back gets out of the car. A few facts about this, or about the family in general, was that Delanio had a 7-month-old son. Martin's family, especially his mother, Deara Martin, seeks justice and wants the officers fired and charged. She states, "He's my sunshine, that's my protector, you took my protector." Deara Martin, the mother, claims that the medical examiner told her that her son was shot 6 times. However, the chief medical examiner's office said in a statement to USA Today that Martin's cause of death was multiple gunshot wounds in the manner of death was homicide, but did not specify how many gunshot wounds he suffered, which is like, who's lying and who's telling the truth at that point. The officer's plan was to cut out the plastic in the back window silently and unlock the door, then states if he doesn't get startled, doesn't wake up, then we're going to try and get in there, grab him before he puts the car into gear. With this known, a spokesman said during a press conference that the MPD officers at the scene do not need to be identified because they were not involved in any serious uses of force, in response to the mother of Martin saying she wants the officers involved to be identified.
What?
Yeah. And the executive board of the Park Police's Union released a statement Thursday, assumed to be March 30th, saying Martin was a clear threat to the officer who shot him, further saying the officers involved follow department policies and call the officers' actions justified. Your thoughts?
First of all, department policy. First, I'd have to read what the department policy is. Normally, when you engage somebody who's sleeping, what do you expect them to do when you startle them out of their sleep?
Right.
They are disoriented and they don't even know who you are. At any time, does it say in there that he identified himself as a policeman in what you just read to me?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
So there's a video.
So basically, if I was a person who didn't know that there were police officers, I'm just basically getting grabbed from behind, and then it shows the other, like another angle.
He
An
never
officer grabbed him out the front of the seat and was trying to tug him out there, and then until he pushed on the gas, and like the 2 policemen outside fell off the car, and there was still one in the back.
Is that the? Ooh, they shouldn't have been on the car.
Yeah.
My thing is, this continues to happen, right? We saw the same thing happen, I want to say, in the Bay Area. We saw these policemen come up to the car. People are clearly sleeping. They saw he was clearly sleeping.
Yep.
And they get into the car and they grab him. Why they didn't knock on the window?
My question is, if you're police, and if you're police who claim to have a probable cause to detain the suspect, why are you sneaking? That's just my only question. Why are you sneaking? Why is there we're gonna cut the window, then we're gonna open the door, we're gonna silence.
What was he doing that was wrong?
He was reported to be in a stolen vehicle. Is there proof of that? I want proof of that. They say that he was asleep in a stolen vehicle that was reported stolen. Allegedly, earlier that month.
Well, I don't believe anything unless I see a warrant.
Right.
Did they have a warrant?
Nope. They just jumped on him. That. I watched the entire video. They just jumped on him.
How many seconds did they give him before they shot him? Would you say?
Oh, they didn't give him any seconds in between. He was in the back.
He gets jumped on by probably what he's thinking a carjacker,
right?
And he's trying to get away.
And he was saying in the back, "Stop before I shoot!" Bow, bow, bow. Like, where was this interval of seconds for him to stop the car? Like, yeah.
So now you can't sleep, right?
Mm.
You can't be in your dorm room sleep.
Right. In your
Right.
house.
I got.
Let's not forget
goosebumps
that
right
one.
now.
So it's y'all.
You can make a
Ooh.
long list of things you can't do.
What can we do? Can we live?
Clearly
Like,
not.
If they
like,
give you permission to, apparently.
gosh.
Goodness gracious.
7
Adrian,
months?
what you think?
It's scary. I mean, every time it seems like every month a new story like this comes out, and we as Black people got to learn we're fending for ourselves.
Honestly.
You know, we have to be cautious of everything we do,
Mhm.
and it's just scary.
And
So as men, Black
Mhm.
men, when you guys continually hear stories about this, what goes through your mind, or does nothing go through your mind? Like
Nah,
what happens?
It just makes you more scared of police. Really, honestly, you're like every single time you see a police officer, your hair starts to go up on your arms, and you start sweating. You
Mhm.
feel like you're having a panic attack because you're like, how is this interaction going to go? You don't know if this is a good person or a bad person, or did I catch you on a good day or did I catch you on a bad day?
Yeah.
So it's just more of a simple fact of who am I going to run into? Or not even if you get pulled over, just who am I going to run into when I see somebody? Like, can they see me and mistake me for somebody that I'm not?
right.
Mm.
I've ran into people who've been mistaken for somebody else and thrown in jail, like, and having to really say, I'm not the person that you're looking for. Well, all the things add up. You're this height, you're this weight. Well, I'm not that person. So you just sitting there like, what can I do? Like, I can't be sleep. I can't be
Loud
aggressive. I
music.
can't do anything.
Can't knock on doors.
Can't have my
No.
windows down. I can't have my windows up.
Like,
What do you want me to do?
Can't run.
can't chill in
run.
my
Can't
house,
walk.
eat ice cream, and watch a
Can't
game.
go get some
Can't-
what did he have? Some Skittles and
Yep.
an iced tea.
Make sure that you
Just can't.
Can't
make sure
fix
you-
a doorknob.
make sure you don't have your phone in your hand because
Yeah.
they be thinking your phone like this.
Can't
Is
run,
a
but then
gun.
can't sit and listen to and follow your orders. It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Adrian, what about you? What do you think when you continually hear stories like this?
Like Jalen said, it just makes me caution up. Like, because other day I got pulled over, and looking back on it now, I noticed I asked him to do everything. Like, hands on the steering wheel, I asked, can I grab my phone? Can I open my glove box? Can I
Mhm.
grab this? So it's like it's something that we as Black men have been instilled in us since we were a child from our moms. And it's a shame that we're gonna have to instill it in our kids still.
Yeah.
The same things.
Yeah, you're right. On Dukes did say that for sure.
yeah.
And I just want to lift up the two names that I do see in the chat. Alonzo Bagley and Joseph Taylor were killed by police in Shreveport, Louisiana. Thank you, Courtney, for sharing that. It's terrible. It's terrible. Like
That's
I am always so fearful for you guys, right?
yeah.
And not to say that you are doing anything wrong, but you could do everything right,
Yeah.
and it's still a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good gracious!
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah, that was hard to hear for me because I have a little brother.
Right.
He's a 6'3", brown skin, tall dude. Like, I think about it all the time. So it's just like you saying that really was like, oh, my heart was heavy.
And like you having to hear this from the time you're 5 years old.
That's what I'm saying.
Like
Yeah.
you turn as soon as you're really able to walk around, you're getting told that, well, or when you're about to start driving, well, I'm gonna give you the cans and can do's. Always be respectful. You have to get a whole rundown before you can even get in the car. Most people have to take their driver's license. We have to take our police license,
Right.
and then
You
their
gotta take your
driver's
life license.
Yeah, like we legit have to have a whole conversation about what to do in this situation if you have to do with the police. What if a police is not having a bad? What if you having a bad day? What if you're having a good day? What can you do? How far can you stretch the leash? Like you got to go through all this training before you can even touch a driver's license.
And what's crazy is you can do all of that and still end up like Tyree Nichols.
Absolutely, it's
Yeah.
ridiculous. You can't have anything on you. They can mistake anything now for a gun.
Wow.
Anything.
Wow.
And I just wanted to circle back to Adrian's earlier comment where he was like the difference between a taser and gun, like what happened? Y'all don't know how to decipher? That's in my mind, that's what I was thinking. Like, did you not want to grab your taser, maybe tase the person in the driver's seat, not shoot him so that he can crash into somebody's house? He could have hurt somebody inside that house. Like,
it's negligence.
And then who did like let's just say that somebody in the house got hurt.
Right.
Who does that fall on?
Right.
Because I bet you it won't fall on the policeman.
And if it does, you'll get short
And then-
sentence. Like,
And then they have the audacity to say that he was a clear threat and his actions followed
clear threat.
department policies. You shoot at people who drive in quote unquote stolen vehicles. That's a policy of yours,
now you shoot people that are asleep.
right? Like,
No, you jump on them and then shoot them.
Like,
and not
He
invo-
probably never even knew what the heck was happening.
and said that the policeman was not involved in any serious uses of force, but somebody's dead.
Yeah.
Make that make sense?
You can't.
But like, why don't you identify yourself? Like, why can't like identify you are police?
Why you just didn't knock?
That's what
on
I'm
the
saying.
Window. Hey,
tap,
are you
tap.
there? Hello. Hi.
I could just imagine what he was like thinking. Because, like you
He
were
probably
saying,
didn't have a chance to think anything.
And
That's
I don't know if
that's
he knew
what
that there was
blows my
somebody in the
mind,
back
like-
seat. I don't know if he took the time to he just looked like he was just like this the whole time. Like, this is an ambush. That's not no
It's an-
arrest. That's an ambush.
Yeah. And I agree 100%.
oh, I got
Ooh,
goosebumps everywhere.
Jalen, what you got for us? What we talking about?
What you
It's a lot more like it's not
Woo.
lighthearted, but it's not as
Well,
crazy.
we gonna switch gears because we
Yeah.
want to get it in.
Yeah. So we're talking about how these coaches are going they're doing a
Nutty.
little bit too much right now because we had the incident with the Georgia football coach and we all seen how that
Mhm.
Georgia football coach was in Atlanta talking about
reckless.
yeah, just talking reckless. But 2 days ago, Phil Jackson, everybody knows Phil Jackson, right?
Do you know who Phil Jackson is, Jada?
No.
The
Okay,
coach.
He
He
used
was
to
the
coach the Bulls and then he went over to the Lakers.
He coached Michael Jordan and he coached Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. His success is off of really, you can make it 4 prominent black figures. Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Shaq, and Kobe, right? So, right? Okay. 2 days ago, he goes onto a podcast where he says, and I quote, let me get the quote up.
Get
He
the quote.
says-
What'd he say?
He says, I have not watched any NBA since the bubble, which was 2020 when they had the COVID
Mm-hmm.
situation and they went to Orlando. They went to Disney World to do a bubble with no fans and everything.
Mhm.
He says, I cannot watch the bubble because of the agendas that they push. He said he doesn't like the basketball evolution, doesn't watch it anymore, thought the bubble and political slogans on the jerseys was wanky and made fun of it with his grandchildren. He also says they even have slogans on the floor in the baseline. It was trying to bring a certain audience to the game and they didn't know it was turning other people off. People don't want to see sports as non-political. But isn't sports always been political?
Certain sports figures have been political. I don't know if sports as a whole has been political. Sometimes I just want these older people to go sit down somewhere and shut up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Life kind of dictates what we see around us. And I'm sorry if the fact that you had a slogan like Black Lives Matter triggered you, Phil Jackson, when you've made money off the backs of black men.
Right.
I am sorry that was unfathomable for you to know that, or for them to even make a statement on their shirts or on the court
Yep.
saying that we support that they are black. What do you want them to do? I know, shut up and dribble.
And
Mhm.
and also this was around the time when this was coming off of
George Floyd,
and then there
Breonna
was
Taylor.
and then there
Mhm.
was what was the one in Milwaukee? There was
There's been so much.
I
don't
know. And then there was one in Milwaukee, and then they ended up they were on the court, and then they decided not to play that game because that was the same day of the killing.
Mm.
So
Hmm.
there was all these
Respect.
different events that happened,
Mhm.
and they also had their name. They changed the names on their back. So if it was LeBron, they would have put like Peace and Love or Black Lives
Wow.
Matter, or they changed the names of their jerseys. And now we're saying I don't watch it because of this political.
It's political to care about my people?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
It's crazy that you said that he's laughing about it with his grandchildren.
Yeah.
For me,
He said it.
Ooh.
Yeah, he said.
Like,
he said his-
generational, and it's like it's gonna keep going down, 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 down. Like nothing's about to what?
he said his grandchildren were asking what was all that, and then they started making fun of it.
Oh, so
That's
you're
so
teaching
nice
your
of them.
grandchildren to be racist. Okay.
Well, I mean, but it's people like him that continue to get these jobs coaching these black athletes
Mhm.
who have these like opinions about black people as a whole.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like I am so sick of them. Like go sit down somewhere. Go laugh about that. Like come on, go sit down.
Yeah.
Like sometimes their opinions are irrelevant. I don't know why we're still talking about him. He's not coaching anymore.
Good.
He just right off into the sunset. Go be happy. Go do
That's what
something
I'm-
else.
Go
Like,
sit
why
on
do-
money that you made off the backs of black people.
He's probably already doing that,
Like,
and
why are
he's
you
probably
doing-
still dating that. Is he still dating that Lakers GM Jenny Buss? Is he
Hey,
still doing that? Is he still
nah.
busting her down? Like, what
Oh
are we
my
doing?
god!
I ain't gonna
Like,
lie.
what are we
I
doing?
ain't gonna lie. I,
Was
Yeah,
that
right.
funny?
Now,
Are you
look.
laughing about that with your grandchildren? Was
I
that
think I
funny?
seen her. I think she had a brother last time I seen her. I ain't gonna cap though. I seen her at the game.
Adrian, what you talking about?
I seen her at the game sizing up Dwayne Wade.
Oh Lord.
Lord have mercy.
Anyway.
Oh my god!
My question is, what certain people is he talking about when he doesn't want to the games? Because last time I checked, we didn't make Black Lives Matter political. Black Lives Matter was just what we
Like matter.
feel. It's what we want. We want Black Lives to matter. It's not a
Mm.
political campaign.
Also.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's a great question, and I think he's talking about the peasants, those lower income black folks who, or those activists or advocates out there that really care about people. Those are the people that you don't normally see at the games anyway. It's more people his complexion in the stands than ours. Ours are mostly on the floor.
Mhm.
So we have to keep it a buck. Sometimes
Ooh.
these old people need to go sit down and shut the hell up. And let these young folks do what it is that they're doing. If that's the only thing that they were allowed to do to make it so that they were visible to people out here in the communities, then what was the matter with that? It didn't affect his pockets at all. His opinion is pretty much irrelevant. I don't even know what we're talking about him. Are you done?
I'm done. I'm done.
Oh,
She said,
okay.
and
He said
sing.
decided to share.
No, yeah.
Because I ain't got time for him. He's lived a very privileged life.
Yes, he has.
No white
And he gets to sit up and talk about things that really don't affect him. And I'm really, really tired of it. And if they don't have anything productive to say, they can sit down and shut up.
Yep.
So the last story I want to bring to y'all. So I don't know if you guys have seen this viral video that's going around of the young lady who happened to roll up on the substitute teacher and put her hands on her coming behind her desk, and them getting into a fight. Look, there are a lot of things that I can say about teachers, right? But there are also equally as much I can say about students and their lack of respect. The fact that they think they have the right to do certain things because they're upset. There's no self-control being exhibited. And so this teacher, and I'm just going to read just a portion of this article, if I can find it. It says, Xavier Steele, a North Carolina teacher who has been charged with simple assault for fighting against a high school student, is telling her side of the story. A video that went viral shows how the fight unfolded at Rocky Mountain High School in Rocky Mountain, North Carolina. Steele and the student are seen repeatedly exchanging hits before dragging each other to the floor, according to ABC 11. Explaining her side of the story in a video on social media, Steele says she is a substitute teacher who worked with kids for a long time, but she has never experienced anything like the recent fight. I've been working with young people for 22 years. I started off in high school tutoring young folks. In elementary school, I taught dance, cheerleading, drill team. I've taught Sunday school, praise and worship dance. The teacher says she loves young people and has never been attacked by students. I love young people. This is why I work with them, she said. I have a heart for them. That young lady attacked me and she went for blood. And it says, according to Steele, someone also made a fake social media page in her name that stated, she said, F the kids and F the job. I was never F the kids because our kids are our future. But I'm going to tell you this. She was in my space. She was behind the desk. I followed protocol for for whoever said that I touched her first. I tried to call for an administrator or somebody at the office. She says, as much as I love the kids, I cannot put my life or my livelihood in danger anymore. I will be saying goodbye to this profession.
Oh,
Mm.
Um,
You hit him with a mic drop.
so there has to be something said about students encroaching upon the teacher's desk. I remember when we were in school, we never ever went behind the teacher's desk
Oh.
unless we were invited.
Yep.
This young lady was upset because she had her cell phone removed. The teacher took the cell phone to try to regain control of the classroom.
this is normal for
Normal.
a teacher,
Why the cell phone out?
right?
Yeah. So,
Right.
Yep.
And so when you guys hear this story or you hear about this, what are some of the things that come to your mind? And then I'm gonna tell you what her mama said.
Ooh, hear stories like this where students fight their teachers.
I guess if that's what you want to call it, I think she got her behind with what she absolutely needed. But yeah, that.
I just think about home training. Like I would hope. Like, what is your home environment like? Would you do this at home? Would you do this to your mama? Would you do this to your dad? Like, let's be for real. No, I just don't. I don't think about it. I don't think anything about it except for the home training, I guess. Like, what is she taught at home? What's her home
Mhm.
environment like?
Mhm.
You know, not to give her a pass or anything, but it's just like, why do you think that you have this much oomph, some pep in your step to go and put your hands on an adult? So,
Keela, what you think?
I don't even know, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm really trying to like wrap my head around it
Mm-hmm.
and kind of what you said. But yeah, I need to know what the mom said.
Okay, Jalen.
I mean, it's just like it's really crazy. Like,
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know.
because like, why would you go by? Like, that's
Because she
like,
was mad, she wanted her phone.
I
What
know,
you mean?
but that's like
A
it's
little
like,
girl.
It's like an unwritten rule of school. You don't never do that.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I know when I did that, I'm not saying I did that, but like if people did that, right, you would get like even in elementary school, you would get detention for going behind somebody's desk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like you elementary school and then high school, you doing that, girl?
Question: what race is the child?
She's black.
Oh,
the teacher's
Lord.
black.
Oh, Lord. Oh,
Uh-huh.
have mercy.
So what her mama thinking? What her
Ooh,
mama
please
thinking?
let me
Oh,
know what
gotta
the
whip
mama's
her.
Wait,
thinking.
can I guess?
I'll let you
Okay,
guess
okay,
after we go to
okay.
Adrian. Adrian, teacher, student
know.
coming, hitting the teacher first and then getting into an altercation. What say you?
I try to look at it from the teacher's perspective, and I'm like, what would I do? And I
Like,
don't know.
You wouldn't do
Do
that.
I-
you
I can
black
bet
out.
you.
You just black out. Start
Right.
something out.
Like, what do they expect the teacher to do? Just get beat
Right.
up?
Right.
Right.
I-
So who's getting the harsher punishment, the student or the teacher?
I don't know because they don't disclose what happens to the student. So,
So,
Well,
I'ma find out.
if
but
that's
my understanding is they were both arrested or they were
Well,
both charged. Is
how
what my
old is
understanding
the
is.
the
student.
student?
I don't know how old the student is, but she is a teenager. She did hit first.
Yeah.
And my thing goes, I'm gonna go towards the parent, and probably because I know what the parent said. I know what I would say if my daughter had the audacity to take her behind
I knew
behind a
it.
teacher's
I knew it. That's
desk.
what I knew it. I knew it.
Okay, so let me read you what your mama,
I
what
knew
the
it.
mama
That's
said,
what
I was
she
like,
said.
yo,
because
mama.
people are saying, the mama need to go up there and put hands on the teacher.
No.
That it
No.
was the teacher's fault. She
No.
shouldn't have did X, Y, and Z. So here's what the mom said. She says, "Are y'all okay? I'm asking because the thought of going up to the school to fight the teacher never even crossed my mind. In what world? My child had the audacity to go behind the teacher's desk, curse at the teacher, invade her space multiple times, refuse to listen and back up, and swing on her first. And you think my reaction is to go up there to fight the teacher? I'm losing my mind on my child because because you thought you ate. You thought you was grown. You thought you were putting on a show, right? Now you're getting 2 shows for the price of 1. It's a double feature.
Ooh.
And that
Ooh,
phone,
bars.
you'll never see it again. Matter of fact, I'm throwing it out of the principal's window just to prove a point, just to make the show extra spicy because you've lost your entire mind and so have I. Like, are y'all okay?" And I'm like,
I knew it.
Come on, mama.
Listen.
I knew it. That's what I was
Listen,
gonna
yeah,
say.
where the air horns,
Come
Tevin?
on.
You late. Come on, Tevin.
I'm sorry doing the special effects.
Because that is the energy we need our parents to have.
Yep.
Have you lost your mind?
That's crazy.
Yep.
We do not send our children to school to embarrass us.
Mm.
We don't send our children to school to be disrespectful. And if they are, there's something wrong with the home environment. But I'm going to tell you right now, let that have been my daughter. We both go into the school.
I have decorum. I'm
We
not doing that.
both go into the school. And you going to sit up here and you going to explain to that woman not only a profuse apology, but you're going to make it right. Because there's no way in hell that you send your child to school and she does this type of foolishness and she thinks it's okay.
That's
Mhm.
crazy.
Absolutely not.
And
That's
she
crazy.
probably was putting on a show for maybe for one of her little friends in
Did
class.
you
Like,
see
that's
it?
not-
Did you see the video?
I didn't.
Oh my gosh.
Can we
Yeah,
play
she was
it?
like, you gonna give me my phone back. You better go sit your little tired tail down. Like, are you serious?
Like, that's
And this
not
is the
cute.
thing that
It
we're
was.
seeing. Like, I understand everybody says, these children are disrespectful. Some of them are.
Yes.
Some of them are very disrespectful. Matter of fact, we had our own interaction at one of the kids'
Oh, stinging the whole time.
No, yeah, I felt that
Oh,
energy.
That's
coming
why.
out.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, I need to know what the mom said.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
that's
you
what the
can
dad
do
said.
what you can do for these children, but some of them just don't have no damn sense. And I'm
Yeah.
gonna just put it like that.
Yeah.
And you can't save everybody. But at the end of the day, if she put her hands on that grown woman had every right to defend herself. I look.
Yeah.
I 100% agree.
Absolutely.
And that's not to say we excuse these parents coming into school classrooms
Yeah, we do
beating
not,
up children.
because
That's
you're
not
an
what we're
outside
saying.
force.
We're not saying that we condone that in any way, shape, or form. What I'm saying is we expect a lot of our teachers, and to leave them unprotected, to be somewhere where she could not access administrators, where nobody came to her rescue.
Hmm.
That is unacceptable. And I know that a lot of our school campuses were short on staff, right?
Mhm.
We are short on staff. Kids are, being subjected to a bunch of substitutes. Now, I know when we were in school, we thought the substitutes was the easy win. We would act
God,
okay
it was
with
a
our teachers,
free lick.
Oh yeah.
But when the substitute came in, it was a different ball game.
I was like,
Mhm.
homework, what's that?
Right.
Attitude?
Oh,
Through the window.
I had a sub for 2 months. I turned my test in late.
Ooh, I'm gonna tell your mama.
I still got A.
But it's just like, y'all, you can love kids all you want. Hear me good.
Right.
Because I love kids, but what I won't put up with is disrespect.
Oh no,
Like-
you got me.
Preach that.
Ooh,
Me neither.
because we do too much and we have to fight too much in society to then come in here and allow one of our own to be damn disrespectful.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so I applaud that teacher, because she didn't just keep pummeling her. She did sit on her to restrain her,
Yeah.
and the girl was tapping out. But she sat there until I don't know when. I don't know if the video cut off and I didn't see her get up. But she was exposed, right? Like, she went down. The girl had her hair. She was exposed. Her rear end was all in the air. Her behind was exposed, right?
Mhm.
And it has to be embarrassing to have yourself put on social media like that.
Of course.
100%.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
That's hurtful.
You was gonna say what?
No, I was gonna say, like, say for instance, what if there wasn't a video?
Yeah.
Then what?
I mean, I don't know,
It's
but
somebody's word against the other person.
That's what I'm saying. It's a he said, she said. So who we gonna believe in that situation?
well, and the thing is, a lot of these things are on video because you got people in class with their cell phones who shouldn't have them,
Mhm.
right?
Facts,
Which I'm
facts.
grateful that they were. But what I would have much rather seen somebody get up to try to separate
Yep.
them
Not just
instead
record
of
it.
recording and allowing that teacher to be hit.
Mhm.
I don't know if I could sit back and let another student disrespect teacher. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I don't know, random teacher. But if it was a teacher I would like mess with really hard, I can't sit back and let somebody disrespect that teacher.
Yeah.
I'd have to step
'Cause
in.
I rocked with a lot of my teachers.
Yeah.
You got to see me about my teacher.
Yeah.
and that's the thing. Like, I remember when my mom was a teacher, she said the students would protect her.
No.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Literally
like-
firsthand, me example. Like literally.
And so it's just the lack of respect. And we love our kids, don't get me wrong, but wrong is wrong and it has to be held accountable.
No
Facts.
matter who's doing
Um,
it.
And
wrong is
so
wrong.
there's a way that this child can be restored after she apologizes But until then, I mean, I feel bad that the teacher is walking away from the profession. But if you're not protected in your profession, why stay there?
Right.
So salute to her and salute to the years she did give. 22 years is a long
That's a
time
long time
to be working with kids. And it takes somebody who really loves kids to be
To
able
do
to
that.
work with them
22
in that
years,
way.
yeah.
In that long.
She a vet.
But yeah, shout out to the mom though. Shout
Yeah,
out
for
to the
real.
mom.
That's
Yeah.
big mama energy.
Yeah, especially because she put that out on
Social media. She
Yeah.
said, "Don't get it twisted."
Yeah, yeah. And so
She said she gonna throw her
more of
phone.
that.
She said she gonna throw her phone
Make
outside the
show
principal's office.
extra spicy.
Period.
Girl, she said a double feature. So not only did you get your behind beat by the substitute, when you come home, it's on.
And that phone she took temporarily, you ain't never gonna see it again.
I mean, and all she had to do was wait to the end of the day.
That's
right?
all.
That's all they have to do.
Yeah.
Like
normally.
you're in class
Yeah.
anyway. What
Or
you gonna
end
use
of the
your phone
class
for?
period.
Yeah.
What you gonna use your phone
End of
for?
the class period. Say you had
Yeah.
12 minutes left.
Nah,
You can't
so
wait.
then she was just really putting on the
Pick
show.
your battles.
But
Yeah.
that's I'm
Pick your
telling you that
battles.
literally in high school, that's what you did. Like if you got your phone took, you either had to put it in the office or you had the teacher get it and you get it at the end of the period.
It was in the
Yeah.
it was in the world though. Like when you didn't have your phone in class, it was crazy.
But
Well,
that
some
don't
people don't
matter.
need a phone.
I
Some people
didn't.
don't.
But she thought she could punk her teacher though. You
Yeah,
gonna
she
give
did.
me who?
But my thing is, you don't pump
Who?
the sub though.
I mean,
Right.
The
it's an
sub.
adult.
That's what I'm saying. But the sub,
It's an adult.
It's an adult.
Like, come on,
the
man. Like,
subs was cool.
and
Yeah,
the
so it's
fact that
okay.
her mom responded that way lets me know she ain't been raised that way. She
Right.
was
Right.
putting on for the people in the classroom.
She
Adrian,
was.
I'm gonna let you
And
have
she
the
probably-
last word.
I'll let you. Go
Dude.
ahead. Go ahead, dude.
I was just agreeing with everything you guys were saying. I was just sitting here nodding.
I know. I see your hair. You ain't got nothing to add.
I mean, when you're reading it, it made me smile. Like, we love accountability.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
White people need to learn. Take notes. Accountability. It's like that.
Our children are not always right. They are not, and
Yeah.
we're not gonna always co-sign foolishness. We're
Mhm.
not doing it.
Let them know.
Not here.
Let them know.
Yeah.
Obviously, not with that mother.
Who?
And so, salute to her. Salute to the people in the chat. Thank you for joining the discussion. We have run out of time. So with that, we're gonna hit y'all with the wave. Adrian's gonna start us off because
Okay.
he's there by himself.
No,
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
He gonna stretch.
Yep, W stretch.
Okay.
Come on. We'll see y'all next week.
I got to
Whole
that last
moon,
week. It was so
baby.
much fun.